enslavement of our brothers and sisters on the continent. Quit trying to separate the numbers. We all one people. So the numbers should not be separated. You understand what I'm saying? We know for a fact from the time of the entrance of the Arab slave trade, the European slave trade, the murder of our brothers and sisters on the continent, the murder of our brothers and sisters in Arabia that was carried up out of Africa, taken to also India and China, that the Africans that were murdered on the seas, on the ocean, that never made it to the Americas. We know for a fact that those numbers go into at least 200 million. So why would they sit up here and say that they were not a part of that savagery when we got it right here on the document of the Congo where they counted, hoarded, and kidnapped and imprisoned our brothers and sisters in the Congo? This is documented evidence. Call them out. Assad is giving allegiance to his African goddess. His crown is nothing but a symbolism of the natural crown that sits upon our black Madonna's head. He's showing his allegiance to that black queen, that black goddess. And we should be aware of our enemies that are coming in to try to usurp our blackness. Well, a nigga can't even say that he's black because he has done so much underhandedness working with our enemies that he can't even call himself black. And when we look at the goddess queen T and look at that the revolutionary queen Angela Davis, we see that that natural gene, that African gene has come up in her again. That the same types of African hairstyles, that is our original crown. The woolly, that natural thick woolly hair that sits upon our head, that's our crown. That's our crown. So you see here a pic that comes up out of the first dynasty. And a lot of people try to use the crackers dates to date the first dynasty. It is not 3200 BC. It is 4100 BC. As the Grand Master High Priest of the Osirian Mystery System, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan teaches us, 4100 BC. And even then, the Per Imheru, the Book of the Dead, was already in existence before the first Sultan, which is Aha, which the cracker calls Nama, sat on the throne of ancient Tameri or what we call Kemet. Now, what we're looking at here, since Minister Moron wants to come out against me and speak and say that the crown of Lord Kemet, Lord Tameri is affairs, I want you to look at it. Because the only thing that's similar to me is that it's red. If you look to the right, you will see that this crown, which is only worn by a sultan, it is never worn by anybody but a sultan. If you look, you see that the crown comes all the way past the nape of his neck. It's almost on his shoulders. And you see that it hooks up under his ear and up over his ear. You understand what I'm saying? And when you look at it from the front on the left, if you look and get an image of Queen Nefertiti, you will see that this crown is basically of the same type of style of Queen Nefertiti. You understand what I'm saying? Now, when you look here, this is Nama or Aha. And you see the crown again. You see that it has an apparatus at the back of the crown. You also see that it has a swirl that is on top of the crown. If it is missing any of those parts, it is not the same crown that is upon our sultans of Lord Kemet's headdress. So when you look here, you look at the little, what they want to call olive, peckerwood, Arab, Turk, with this hat, so-called fez sitting upon the top of his head. It does not come down to the nape of his neck. It does not come around the upper and lower portion of his ear. It does not have the apparatus at the back. It does not even have the type of symmetry. The fez has an oval symmetry, where the crown of Lower Egypt again has the type of symmetry. If you look at Queen Nefertiti's headdress, it is basically of that same type of symmetry. So again, you fail in trying to deceive us. You have failed again, moron. I had to come out and attack them because, again, they say that they're Asiatics. And our ancestors drew images of the Asiatics on the wall. And this was the image. It looks like any old little lowly Arab with his own little flea-bitten beard, you understand what I'm saying, in a pointy position. And you see a lot of niggas on the Liberation Unit that wear that same type of head, same type of style in their beard, trying to be their master. That's all they trying to do, is be their master. They are not original. They don't go back and look upon the walls and see the type of headdress that we wear. So now if our kings of Lower Egypt was wearing a fez, then I guess PT is wearing a damn kufi. If that's, I mean, this is the madness in trying to reinterpret our history. If they came in and modified and stole, you can't call the original images by what the thief called it, because you give the thief power when you call it that. Ptah's not wearing a damn kufi. The Arab is wearing the stolen style of headdress, and he called it a kufi. So when you look here and you see the native indigenous Nile Valley African giving prayer to Amin-Ra, is he giving salat? Is he giving salat like the Muslim? No, he's not giving this. He's not giving salat. This type of prayer formation existed long before what they call salat. This is what the thief called it. He came in and looked on the walls and stole and modified and didn't tell you where he got it from. You're the originator of that concept. So here we look at our queen goddess, our Set. Is she giving salat? Is she giving salat? No, she's not giving salat. This is the original prayer formation that our ancestors had in the Nile Valley before the first Arab crawled up out of a cave. They're nothing but another form of a cracker that got a little African blood in them, so they got a little more melanin at this point in time than the average cracker, but he's from the same rotten tree. He's from the same rotten tree. He's nothing but a peckerwood. Now, we look here again. Is our Set giving salat? No, she's not giving salat. It's the little lowly, flea-bitten ass Arab that went in there and looked upon our walls and stole these prayer formations. And if the fez did come up out of the crown of Lower Egypt, which I've shown you that the whole style of it has no similarities whatsoever. If they did, they're nothing but thieves. They're nothing but thieves where they modify any which way it go. So here again, we're looking at some little flea-bitten Muslims with them long-ass beards. No, they ain't got nothing but lice and fleas in them. Is our native brother of the craft, is he giving salat? No, he's not giving salat. He originated that prayer formation. They're the ones that came in and looked upon the walls and looked at our ancient monuments and stole religion and spirituality that he don't possess right now today with his dehumanizing barbaric ways that he practiced upon our people. Let's look at this. The minarets in front of the mosque, and then look at the two tekens in front of our original native temples of the Nile Valley. Is the Nile Valley temple a mosque? No, it's not a mosque. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a mosque. It existed before the mosque. But see, I'm trying to show you the hypocrisy that the Moor have in trying to say that what the crown of Lower Egypt is a fast. They trying to give you the distortions. They trying to give you the plagiarized versions of it. It's not a fast. It never will be a fast. And as long as I'm alive, anytime you come out with that nonsense, I'm going to attack it, and I'm going to attack it like a savage beast. Because you don't deserve to be out here teaching our people shit because you're backward, Minister Moron. You ain't no damn more. You're more like a whore because you're pimping our goddamn people no more than the damn preacher. How the hell you gonna come on and put up 4 videos, damn near 40 minutes video, and don't give the people one goddamn reference? Don't show them one visual documentation. You just like the goddamn preacher want to stand up above the people and just spew rhetoric and don't give no goddamn references. Shame on you, Minister Moron, for trying to attack a brother trying to look out for his people. Now you look at the Tekken and you look at the minaret. Is the Tekken a minaret? No, it's not a minaret. It was before the minaret. But they're trying to steal our history, rename it, reclassify it, and hide it up under their own wicked ass religious concepts to try to steal away from you your history. Don't you let them do it. You call them out every goddamn chance you get. Your time is up, Moorish Science Temple. We own your ass. And a lot of you know you're teaching falsehood, and because you're trying to get a little dollar here and there, you are pimping our goddamn people. You're not a Moor. You're a whore. They came before Columbus is an understatement. Our people's been in these lands many, many thousands of years before Columbus set sail to what we know of today as the Americas. But what we're trying to identify is exactly where these Africans came from and the type of culture that they brought with them when they came here. The Olmecs dominated a region of Mexico today we call Veracruz. When the Mexicans first found a lot of the artifacts and monuments in Mexico, just as this newsletter, just as this document tells us, Yucatan Egipto de America. Yucatan, Egypt in America. This is what they wrote. Why would they say Egypt? Because we know for a fact that the pyramid originated in the Nile. It originated in the Nile and it reached its apex in the Nile. The structures that you see in the Americas are much, much less in technology than those pyramids in the Nile Valley. When you look at these faces, there is no doubt that they are African. There is no doubt whatsoever. Thick lips and broad noses. All of these statues identify the fact that our peoples was in this land. And a lot of people have covered it up because they have an agenda to teach black people that they have done nothing worthy of what we today call historical achievement. They have cut us off from our history to keep us in a slave mentality. But today we are waking up, we are doing the research, and we are identifying our people and our history on all the continents. When you look at this photo, look at the sister, look at her lips, and look at the Olmec lips, and his nose, and look at her nose. It is almost identical. This woman looked like she could have either been the mother of that Olmec or his sister. Here is another photo of a West African brother, young brother. And if you look in the face, if you look in the lips, and you look in the nose, there is no doubt that that brother and that Olmec is from the same race. Here we are looking at the 7 braids that was found on the back of one of the Olmec heads to show the Africanness in his culture. And looking at the brother to the right with the same type of African braid. How did these Africans get here? A lot of people saying that they're navigators. But here you have Khufu's boat, the new Ark, 2500 BCE. This brother Khufu, who built the largest stone structure ever built on the planet Earth. And we know it for a fact because it's still standing. This boat was found on the outside of the pyramid. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is not the first boat. This is just a replica of many, many boats that have been found in the Nile Valley. And there was even an expedition, which they called the Ra expedition, where they floated a Nile Valley boat built out of reeds, floated it from the west coast of Africa to the Americas to prove that it could be done with Egyptian boats. So for all my brothers who claim to be navigators, show me what you was navigating. Because what the Nile Valley Africans navigated can still be found. Now when we come to a lot of the paintings on the wall, what you should be focusing on is the fact that the Mayan and the Aztec priests, they wore the jaguar skin. Where did they get that from? If you go back into the Nile Valley priests wore the leopard skin. So when it got here in the Americas, the origin of the knowledge was the same, but they used animals that was indigenous to the area where they came from. They substituted the African animal with animals that was indigenous to the Americas. You even see Bess, the oldest Nile Valley deity, with the leopard skin, because the leopard truly is indigenous to the south of Africa. And this is why you see the Nubians bring the leopard skins up to the Egyptians and traded with the Egyptians various minerals and so on and so forth. But a leopard is indigenous to the south of Africa. Now, this is a photo to the left that I took when I was at Tehukan, which is the largest pyramid field in the Americas. Immediately, I looked and I said, that's Bess. You see the feathers that's coming out the top of his head. You see his tongue sticking out. And many of the photos with Bess, you will see that almond shape in his eye. So you have Bess. Not only do you see the pyramids, you see a lot of the Nile Valley deities carved on the stone of them pyramids. Now, a lot of people say the Mayans got a calendar. They ain't got no damn calendar. That's the Egyptian calendar. And if you look very, very close, you will see that in the middle is Bess. That's Bess with his tongue sticking out, showing you the origin of where this knowledge came from. It is the Egyptian Nubian calendar. Matter of fact, it's actually the Nubian calendar, because the first date, 4236 BCE, that calendar was in existence before the first pharaoh, Narmer, at 3200 BCE, sat on the throne. So when you look in the middle of this so-called Mayan calendar, Olmec calendar, which is nothing but the Nubian Egyptian calendar, it is the first and oldest god of the Nile Valley. It is Bess, sitting right there in the middle of the stone. Now, another painting that identified the origin of the Olmec and how they passed that knowledge down to the Aztec, Incan, and Mayan was the smiting of the enemy, where the king grabs his enemy by the hair and prepares to take off his head. And you see this here to the left with the Mayan king mimicking the Nile Valley, the Egyptian Nubian king right here, Ramesses II. This is a fact that cannot be disputed. So we are identifying that the cultures that you see in the Americas originally come from the Nile Valley. Here is one of the Aztec priests, painted black. And here to the right is an Aztec today, continuing on that culture that was brought where they paint themselves up to look just like the original culture bringers that brought them that culture. They still paint themselves up to look like the great god of Sa. This is who they're trying to mimic. This is who they're trying to mimic. They are trying to mimic the great god of Sa. And there are many codex, there are many paintings that show the blacks in these lands. Here again, you see a black, he has a beard, but again, you see him with that jaguar skin on his back, mimicking the Nile Valley Africans who wore the leopard skin. On this photo, pay very attention to the serpent at the top of the Mayan's head, where he's mimicking our kings of the Nile Valley who wore the cobra above their brow to strike fear in their enemies. This was the great goddess, Wajet, the great goddess that strikes fear in the enemies of the Pharaoh. The next photo, pay very attention to the Olmec on the right. Look at his headdress. It is very, very similar, if not exact, to the Nemesis crown of the ancient Nile Valley Sultans. Look very clear. And here is also where it's so much exact, it is no doubting that to the right, that the Olmec is wearing the crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, even in the Americas. We're not doubting where this knowledge came from. The first Africans in the Americas came from the Nile Valley. Here we're looking at the cap of Ptah, the cap that was also worn by his son, the multi-genius Imhotep. This is blatant evidence that the worship of Ptah, along with many other Nile Valley deities, was in the land. We're even looking at their prayer formations. We're even looking at their prayer formations. This is something that cannot be overlooked. When you look at Tahuti, what I want you to look deeply at is the saturations in his headdress. Look at the saturations in his headdress, and then look at the right to the Olmec representation of Tahuti. You see those same saturations in the top of the ibis, the sacred ibis of what we call Tahuti, Jehuti. Again, we're looking at the symbolic meaning of Tahuti in the Olmec or Mayan culture here. Olmec being the mother culture of all civilizations in the Americas, the mother culture. And we can easily go into the artifacts that were left by the Olmecs and see where Tahuti and Ptah was one of the major deities being worshipped here in the so-called Americas. Again, we're looking at the sacred baboon, sacred to Tahuti. We're looking at the ibis, and again, the sacred baboon of Tahuti, proving without any doubt that his great wisdom as the deity of all sacred wisdom in the Nile Valley had come to the Americas and was one of the front deities in the craft system right here on these shores and in these lands that we call the Americas. Now on the right is an Aztec priest. What you see on the top of his headdress, a falcon. The worship of Heru. All of these deities, you got to understand that all of these deities from the Nile Valley had come to the Americas. And one way or form, shape, or another, that all the Nile Valley deities were being worshipped in the Americas. This is not a coincidence. You find pyramids. You find the same deities on the wall. You find the same animals intertwined in their religiosity. This is no coincidence. Quetzalcoatl, the flying serpent. We also see that originated in the Nile Valley. We also see that the flying serpent originated in the Nile Valley. Looking at this creation photo of Shu holding up heaven, and the goddess Nut represented as heaven, if you look to the top, the left and the right, you will see the two winged serpents, which the Olmec brought to the Americas, in which they call Quetzalcoatl. Now on this vid, look at the dead center of the Incan headdress, and you will see the eye of Ra, the eye of Heru in the middle of his headdress. All these individuals out here saying that the Moors brought the knowledge here, that the Washita brought the knowledge here. The Nile Valley Africans were the first Africans to bring what you call high culture. I'm not talking about no mound. I'm not the mound builder. I'm the pyramid builder. When you was over there playing with mud, we was cutting stone. Quit playing with mud and learn to cut stone. That's where masonry come from. That is why the pyramids are still standing and your mound is melted down. It's nothing but dirt. We're talking about cutting stone. So when you come to the pyramid fields of the world, the one on the left is in China. The one next to that is the pyramid field of Giza. The one next to that, Teotihuacan. And the star system of Orion is the far left, showing that they were all aligned with Orion's belt. But it started in the Nile. We still see the evidence. It is overwhelming. These niggas talking about pyramids up under the water. See, that's where they can go, because you can't easily prove that. They always talking about esoteric. You don't know the esoteric meaning of what they talking about. That's just like what the Masons say. We got the secret. That's their way of hiding the fact that they don't know shit, because you can't do no research on that. They got to give you the answer. This is their way of lying and misleading the people. Our artifacts are overwhelmingly put down in the Nile for all to see. You ain't got to go searching high and low to find the evidence. Here it is. So when you're looking at Teotihuacan, you got to understand that it's nothing but a replica of the Giza Plateau. But it is a lesser technology, much lesser than what was in the Nile. This is looking at it from the top, showing that it is a step pyramid. That's exactly what it is, a step pyramid, and the crackers